Hey everybody, in this tutorial I want to show you how to get started with basic HTML using a website called codesandbox.io. This is a free website that you can use that will host your web page along with many other pages that you might want to create and make it public for the world to see. And also, it's not limited to just HTML and CSS, which we'll be doing in this class. You'll see that there are a lot of other coding programs and languages that it understands that you could, and on your own, get to know. So just to get started here, we're going to click on Sign In, and it's going to bring you to a Sign In box here where you can sign in with a website called GitHub, you can sign in with Google, or sign in with Apple. Those are the really only three options that you have. So if you do not have a Google account, which is what I do recommend, you could create an account on GitHub. It's a coding platform that lets you share and store web code, and then you can sign in with that. But I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my Google account here. So just click on Sign In with Google, and you're going to see this dashboard that it brings you to. You'll see I already have a website that I started over here, and if you want to create multiple sites, they'll be listed down here in recent. And then over on the left, you're going to see some settings and things like that that you might want to take a look at. What we're going to do is just click on Create. This is going to allow you to create your first page, and it's going to allow you to either use some recently used ones, and if you don't see that one, then I recommend going down here, just click on HTML and CSS Code Sandbox. This is going to give you a basic template for an HTML web page. From there, it's going to give you two random words that it's going to put together to make your website unique so that nobody else can mirror or copy the same site. And so it's fine if you just leave it to say whatever it is going to say there. I'm going to click also, I want you to click on, instead of visibility private, I want this to be public so everyone can see. So you will be sharing this publicly so that we can grade it and look at it. So we want to make sure it's visible there. And we're going to do a basic sandbox. So I'm going to go ahead and press Create Sandbox. And it's going to build a web page for us to start using to code. You'll see it's going to give you some basic template code here on the left, and then on the right it's going to give you the preview of that code in a little window. On the far left, you're going to see some options for files that it's going to give you as well. We are working in the index.html file. This, as we talked about in lecture, is the home page for any website that you go to in the World Wide Web. All home pages are called index.html. It's also going to give you a JSON, a JSON, JavaScript object notation for any JavaScript objects that you might need to add, which we won't work with at all, but that's there. And then we've got a styles, which we will work with later in future tutorials to stylize your website with CSS. I'm going to click back here on the index page so you can see what that looks like in the code. And I'm going to go through these lines of code just to make sure you understand what each line does. This first line is the most recent version of HTML. Just with any language, languages go through different iterations, and so do coding languages. And so this is telling the browsers this is the most recent version of HTML. It's HTML5. And what we have here is the HTML tag that starts off the entire page. As we discussed in lecture, every single web page starts with the HTML tag. It's telling the browser that it's going to start reading HTML. And you'll see it's offset by these brackets, the less than and greater than sign brackets. It's then going to tell the browser that it's going to be in the English language. Now you'll see that this tag opens right here, and then it also closes that tag way down on line 13. You'll see that as tags are opened, they are closed in reverse order, meaning I wouldn't close the HTML right away. I close it at the end. And you'll notice as we go through here with the head of the document, it's not closed until down here, and then the body is not closed until right here. So we're not closing these tags right away. We're actually putting content inside of those tags, and it's closed here at the very end. And you'll notice that with that / character. So this, in essence, opens and tells the browser, hey, start reading HTML, and this is telling it, hey, now you can stop reading HTML. Computers only do what you tell them to do, so you have to close the loop. You open the loop here, you open the conversation here, you've got to close it down here. Same thing happens with the head right here. So we talked about in lecture how the head of a document contains a lot of the metadata, or the content that is not seen on your web page. A few lines here that we're going to talk about is the meta care set. This is telling you what kind of keyboard is being used in the code. This one is telling you that this is a mobile-friendly site, in that whatever width certain items are, they need to be scaled down for a mobile experience, and you'll notice that as it grows bigger or smaller, it will scale depending on the size of the browser. So this makes it responsive in a way, but it makes it mobile friendly. This whole line of code is just saying that Internet Explorer is also Edge. There's a whole line of code here telling it that a certain browser has to have some certain code to it, and it's just there for you, Microsoft Edge and Microsoft Internet Explorer, as we often call it Internet Exploder because it's a horrible browser, but that is beside the point. Then we have a title tag. This is used in search engine optimization. This is a way to title your website. Though you don't actually see this physically on the page, you don't see the word HTML and CSS anywhere on this as a title necessarily. You see this is a simple HTML, but this is a heading. Up here you don't actually see the CSS and HTML written because that is actually going to appear in the tab. And this is really good for search engine optimization. Whatever is usually typically in the title is what the whole page is about. And so I'm just going to go and call this John Zmickley's website. That's what this whole page is about. It's like naming your document in Word. You want it to relate to the content that we're talking about here. And so again, I don't see that anywhere here. We'll talk about where that shows up, but mainly this title tag is meant for search engine optimization purposes. You also see a link here to what's called the styles.css file, and basically what that's doing is it's saying, hey, we're going to add some style to it, some special paddings, colors, fonts, and things like that, but that's all going to be housed in one file called styles.css. That file is this one right here. So in future tutorials, when we start editing this, you'll see the effects of that style on our HTML page because it is linked through this one line of code. Then you'll see the head closes. So all of the metadata or the content to set up the page or information about the page itself is all going to be here in the head. It's going to start here and it's going to close on line 9. Right away after that, we have the body. And the body is typically what you see on the page, the visible areas of the actual page itself, the content. And so you'll see the body opens and then it closes. The body opens and then inside of it is this H1. H1 stands for heading 1. As we talked about in class, this is the largest size of a heading that you can have with any text that you put in an HTML page. It will fall under generally one of two categories. It's either going to be a heading or it's going to be a paragraph. We see headings all the time in blog post titles, in even bylines, in date lines, in subheadings and things like that. And typically it's going to be bolded, it's going to be larger, and it's going to have its own special effects. And so I'm going to go ahead and just type the word welcome, and you're going to see quickly that our preview will change to the word welcome. And the reason that it's underlined is because in our style sheet, it is telling that text decoration to be underlined. And so we will get to the style code in future classes, but for now, that's the reason that this is underlined.